So one day when I was a kid, I was out riding my bicycle, and I heard about that guy that was supposedly a kid, and he ran away, and he was an airline pilot, and he was this, that, and the other. They made a movie, Catch Me If You Can, and apparently, what I just read was it was kind of confusing. Trying to, I don't know how old I was, maybe I don't know. That was in like I was like maybe 3 or 4 years old when I heard that, and whether he was planning it at the time, he might have planned it all. He might have been through he was going through a divorce or something, and then he was planning on what he was going to do, and I might have just caught the planning. But what they say is that none of that stuff. He wrote like 10 checks, and it added up to like $1,500. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. I've been trying to, well, I haven't been trying to straighten the story out, but the story's kind of straightening itself out over the years. And so when I was a kid, and he didn't look like the person, when you picture somebody doing it, he didn't look like the person that you'd picture doing it. So anyway, so when I first time I seen him, uh, well, I don't know about, he didn't say the he was in a car with like four guys, and I think they was trying to pass themselves off as FBI, but it didn't look right because there was four guys in this car, and it was all huge. I mean, they just like engulfed the car. They were all pretty big, so I don't know who they were, mobsters or something. I don't know. But anyway, it was here in Des Moines. There's this school slash church down on it's on an Indianola Road, I believe. It's called a St. Anthony's, and I don't know what I was doing. I was going. I don't know if I was riding down that street, and I was going. For some reason, I was in like their parking lot or something, and this guy come. I can't remember. He come. Was he running in there, or is he? Maybe he was driving. He might have been driving her on a bicycle or a motorcycle. I can't remember what he was. He had this blonde hair, and he said, I can't remember what he said, but he pulled up to me and he said, I can't remember what he said, but anyway, I was like, whatever. Yeah, I didn't know what he said, and he kind of took off. Well, not maybe a minute after he took off, this car drove up, and these four guys were in it. That abignale was in like the back seat, and he was flashing. It claimed it was a badge. I didn't know what it was supposed to look like. So as far as I knew, it was a toy or what. I didn't know who they didn't look like FBI. And now that I know that he was never with the FBI, it makes sense that he was just impersonating them. I mean, they didn't have uniforms on; they just had clothes on. But anyway, so as that day progressed, I don't know if it was that day or if it went through a couple days. I think I might have been in school. I don't know. Anyway, so then there was what I heard was that this guy that was running from these supposed FBI guys had diamonds, had blood. They didn't call them blood diamonds. They were just diamonds, like raw diamonds. They was saying. And this Abignale wanted he was going to kill him. He was going to find out where how he could get diamonds from him so he could retire. He wanted a whole bunch of diamonds. And supposedly he claimed that he shot him. But anyway, so a couple days later, a week or whatever it was, this guy that was running from him shows up in our front yard here in Des Moines when I don't know how old I was, maybe 12. So it was been like 72. It was after this guy, it was after that, I'd forgotten all about the guy, the kid that supposedly jumped on a plane. Apparently he did impersonate a pilot or something like that, and that's what they was kind of after him for. I think I remember that in the news. they caught him impersonating a pilot or something like that. So anyway, this guy comes up to me and he's blonde. He's kind of skinny, and he was talking in like an English accent, but he said he was from South Africa, and he said his name was Danny Oshner. And I said, Oshner, like the, I don't even know if the hospital was known by it. I said, like Oschner? He said, no, Osh, like Archer, ARC. So that's what he said. I think that's what he said his first name was. Might have been something else. But who I think he was, I don't think, at the time it was like, man, because all this stuff was like, I had, when I was like, I don't even know if I was a year or maybe 2 years old, and this guy was like, for some reason, I have a lot of, like, I don't know what it was, mental imagery or something like that, back when I was a kid. And he said, I'm related to you, and my last name's, well, anyway, I don't know. He said his last name, and I don't even think I knew who my name was. But he was like, I don't know, for some reason I was dealing with him for like a day or two or maybe more, and he said his name was Archer, and that was my great grandparents' name. And so anyway, so he didn't look like this guy that came up to me in Des Moines here and said his name was. So what I think happened, there was a lot of what do they call them, pen pals back then in the 60s. And there was a lot of, I think there was a lot of murderers, like serial killers that were pen pals back then or something. I don't know what it was. But anyway, I think what happened is this Archer guy, somehow he was sending a letter, and then this blonde guy got the letter, maybe the wrong address or something. I don't know who he sent it to, but he got the wrong address. Maybe he broke into somebody's mailbox or something. And but I think what he did is he found out who this guy was, and maybe he was like, maybe he had contact with him, or maybe he was related to, I don't know, well, whatever it was. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about all the stuff, but anyway, this blonde guy that came up to our house saying that's who he was, which I think it was like, wow, this is not matching a face, and he kind of had an accent of South African, which I don't even know if I heard it. It was kind of English, but it kind of broke every once in a while, and it was like, I don't know what it was, but anyway. Now, I don't know where this blonde guy was from. He might have been from Des Moines. These guys might have been actors. This Abignale might have been acting at the time and just going around touring or something. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, I think what he did is he stole that guy's name. Well, I don't know if he stole his name, but he kind of stole from, maybe he wrote back letters. But he had a piece of plastic. I don't know if it was plastic or diamond, but it was like a rough, it wasn't a faceted diamond. It was like a small clear rock. And he said it was a diamond that he smuggled out of South Africa. And this was like in 72 maybe, 72, 73, maybe right around in there. And it might have been, I don't know, it was right around 71 to 73. And I was kind of skeptical, he's like, and I looked at it, he said, oh, I smuggled that in my ass, and I dropped it on the ground. I think he was giving it to you. He says, you can have that. And I said, I don't want it. I said, I'll look at it, but I don't want it. And he said, I smuggled that in my ass. I dropped it on the ground. It went in a crack between the sidewalk and the grass. And I said, I'm not touching it. I said, because I went inside, I think I washed my hands or something. Came back out, and he was still standing there. Well, anyway, he had bandage around his his ribs or something. He said he was shot, and he had something. He had some clear vial in his pocket, and he said it was pure nicotine. And he said he was it was for if he ever got into a situation where he had to kill somebody, he could put one drop of this nicotine on him, this 100% pure nicotine, and then kill him, because he said pure nicotine will kill him. Well, vapes are that's apparently pure nicotine, and it's not kidding. People are breathing that in, so apparently that story's bullshit. So anyway, so this guy's sitting there telling me he's been shot and he had a bandage. I said, take the bandage off. Let me see where it's, I said, you want some new bandage? He said, no, don't take it off. And I was like, I was kind of skeptical of him. And I said, your name, he said his name was Oshner. It sounded like Oshner, like the hospital. And I said, Arsher? I said, well, what are you, related or something? What are you doing here? And I said, you related to my great-grandparents or something? And he said, I don't know. But he didn't. Anyway, so he was talking. There was a guy up the street. One of the guys that was in the car with this abignale was up the street. We lived on a dead end. It was like a one block dead end, and then it had like a circle, like not a cul-de-sac, but I guess it'd be a cul-de-sac without anything in it. It was a turnaround, and then he'd go up to another street, and that guy was standing up at that other street. And I said, "What are you trying to get away from these guys or something?" Because I remember him running, supposedly running, and then this guy's waiting up the street, and I thought, well, this is not. Why would the FBI catch this guy and then have him come down to my house, or not? It wasn't my house. It was where I grew, where I lived, and it didn't make any sense. So I was like, it was like, they're telling the story, so I'm just okay, yeah, whatever. So anyway, later I told him, I can't remember what I asked him if he needed to use a restroom or something. I don't know what it was. He said, I don't know if he, I can't remember. I asked him if he needed, use a phone or something, or if he needed, I told him a way to get away from the guy, and he's like, no, that's okay. So I'm guessing, I was, at the time, I was like, well, I don't know, this is weird. It's FBI, and they're just letting him walk around, not arresting him. And so anyway, there was a neighbor, and she's gone now. Apparently she died of cancer a couple of years ago. And but he went over to her. Man, I don't know what he did over there. I said, I don't know if he's, what he was, maybe he was, he wanted a cigarette. I said, well, this girl over there smokes. I don't know, she was a couple years older than me, so she was probably 15 or 16. And so I said, I know she smokes. And so I said, you might get a cigarette off her. And so he went over there. And man, she come out, she's like, her dad was Italian, hot-headed too, and so she come out, she was yelling at me. She said, that guy come over here, did you tell that guy? I said, I said, he just wanted a cigarette. And I said, yeah, I know you had cigarettes. And I think that's all. And I don't know what happened. Then after that, he disappeared. I don't know what. But then later that night, it was dark, and for some reason, I walked out to the front door and looked out in the front yard, and there's him and that supposed FBI guy looking for that diamond. So it might have been a real diamond, or they was acting on it. I don't know. But I was, but I'm still, I don't, I was even skeptical of the abignale when I seen him on TV saying that's who he was, because I was like, wow. The picture I got was this, in fact, it was almost this blonde guy is who the picture, in my mind, when that was happening, when they was reporting it on the news that this kid was impersonating a pilot and to be on the, I don't know if they said to be on the lookout, he could be anywhere and wherever. And I had the picture of this blonde guy that was saying he was this archer guy, which I don't think he was from. I don't think he was from Africa. I think he was probably from Des Moines and got like a pen pal letter and from the guy, and he was for whatever reason. But that's how I penned this thing together or put this thing together. So apparently, this Abignale's been going around saying that's who he is, and everybody's just accepted. He was on Johnny Carson. And he told a story there. Apparently, that none of that story is true. None of the story in the movie's true, except he did impersonate like some Pan Am pilot, and that's what they caught him like right away or something. He'd been arrested like 10 times, and he wasn't escaping. They just let him go. And he was down in Louisiana getting caught for this, that, and the other. So anyway, I was just I did a video on it where I said I just put it, just keep putting every time it comes around. There's a little story about every 20, 30 years, and so I finally put this together, and I don't even know if that whoever he's playing is. Anyway, so that's where I'm at now with this, because all these characters, and I know there was some people that came around. I know there's one actor. He's from Ireland, I think. Well, he sounds Irish or whatever. Might not be, but he actually seen him in a couple movies. But back in I don't know if this was early 60s. Maybe early 70s again, like 70, 71. And he was in this limo with this little guy. And he tried handing me an AK-47. He said, here, take this AK-47. Now I'm thinking now that it wasn't a real one, it might have been a prop, but he wanted me to touch it. And I was like, I don't want to touch it. I'm not. I know if it was real, because I had some freaking there's some serial killers came around that house, so I didn't know it. I'd heard, one guy, this clown guy out of Chicago, he came by one day, and this kid was with me. He said, "Oh, that's the clown." So he said his name. I can't remember his name right now, but he said he's been arrested. And I said, "Well, then don't go near him," because he didn't have no shirt on, and he was saying, "Hey, come here," and he was in a car. And this kid walked over there next to the window. I said, "Man, don't get in that freaking car." So anyway, no, it's like I've been trying to patch that together, because the faces ain't matching up to the story or to what you think they'd look like. So anyway, so I don't know about this. This Abignale might not even be him. He might say, "Let me play it might be pen pals and just a story they made up and said, here, I'm going to claim I'm you." And then he said, well, if I get this story, that might be how it is. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's where I'm at this story now. But they was saying he shot that, playing that FBI guy, that he shot that, he shot that FBI guy. So, or no, the FBI guy shot this guy playing this archer, and he had a bandage on. He had it all, all this. So I don't know. Maybe there was. I don't know how they could be doing this play and having these names, but the stories don't make sense, because they never said anything about any of this blood diamond stuff in the movie or anything like that. So after I seen the movie and I remembered all these faces and stuff from seeing that guy's face, I thought, wow, I've seen that face before. And then that archer, and I was like, wow, I kind of remember, and I remember blood diamonds that are raw cut, uncut diamonds, and I said, well, I remember. It was just after seeing a movie, then it just kind of stuff started slowly creeping in, and like, well, I remember it. So that's where I'm at, piecing this stuff together on that, because that was like, it's puzzling whether if that's even his name, or they're all pen pals and they're just living each other's life. I don't know. So, but I don't know if that diamond was real either. If they was out there hunting at night, trying to get me to believe that it was real or what. But he didn't care about it when I said I dropped it down. He said, I don't care. I got more. Or something like that.